Whether you make it in life or you don't, it's up to you. It's a story about a man called Obed-Edom. Who has heard about Obed-Edom? Depending on the school you attend, you can call him Obed-Edom. We would allow you. For you to take responsibility of your life and for you to be blessed by God, don't joke with the presence of God. Don't drift away. You see, if you miss devotion for 1 or 2 days, you should come back. There is a principle called the haircut principle. And the haircut principle simply says that.
Welcome, dear listeners, to the School of Growth podcast. We are thrilled to be your guide on this transformative journey. Join us as we explore the realms of personal development, unveiling the path to becoming the best version of yourself. Get ready to dive into inspiring conversations and practical insights. I'm excited to have you with us. Let's embark on this journey together.
So this week I heard 2 stories and I want to start with those 2 stories. Michael, is your thing working? Okay, so I heard 2 stories this week and I think it will be a good place to start. The first story I heard was of 2 boys, 2 young men, let me put it that way. And there was this wise old man in the village. And they used to wonder how come this man is always, he knows the right thing to always say or the right thing to always do. So they decided to trick the old man. So they caught a little bird and they said, let's go and test this old man, whether indeed he's as wise as he claims to be, whether he's all-knowing. So they held the bird behind them. And then they said, we'll go and ask the old man, is this bird dead or alive? If he says the bird is alive, then they'll squeeze the bird and kill it. Then they'll say, oh, look at you, the bird is dead. If the man says the bird is dead, then they will say, hey, the bird is alive. So this was their little trick that they took to the old man. So they went to the old man, and as they had agreed, they put the bird and they said, oh, we have a bird in our hand, and we want you to tell us whether the bird is alive or it's dead. And they were laughing. And the old man said, why are you laughing? And he said, oh, there is nothing. Then the old man also started laughing. And they were surprised because they are like, we've caught him. You know, this is a trick that it should beat him. And the old man told them that whether the bird is alive or is dead is up to you. And they were surprised. And that is where I want to start from. The reason we are holding this session is because whether you make it in life or you don't, it's up to you. Your life is in your hands. So whether you come out of this alive or dead, it is all up to you. The second story is that there was a man who said, well, there is how do they call it? Is it soothsayer? The people who tell you your future. You know, so they said, let's go and see this man. The man said to him, so I'm going to see this man and I'm going to ask him to tell me what my future is. So he went and the man said, okay, I'll tell you what your future is. So the man drew 2 circles, 1 black circle and then 1 white circle. And he put a millipede on the ground and said, if the millipede crawls into the black circle, then you are doomed for life. If it crawls into the white circle, then you will make it in life. So the millipede started crawling and it was heading towards the white and the man was excited. Then the millipede started moving to the black and he was expecting the millipede to go back into the white, but it kept moving to the black. Then quickly he took the millipede and put it in the white. And the old man said, well, you have your answer. You can do something about whatever you are looking at. So that is why we are holding this session. There are certain things that when you know, you would realize that a lot depends on you. So even if manna drops from heaven, you have to pick it and eat. You see, so your life is in your hands, basically. And I want to start with a scripture from 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 11 to 12. It is a story about a man called Obed-Edom. I don't know if you've heard about Obed-Edom. So Maureen, can you read for us 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 11 to 12? It's a story about a man called Obed-Edom. Who has heard about Obed-Edom? Oh, no one has heard about Obed-Edom. Or maybe you know him as Obed-Edom. You've heard of Obed-Edom. Yeah, my bro flies in a kakra. It's Obed-Edom. 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 11 and 12. A man called Obed-Edom. But depending on the school you attend, you can call him Obed-Edom. We would allow you. So please read 2 Samuel 6, 11 to 12. The ark of the Lord remained in the house of Obed-Edom.
Now it was told in David's city, the Lord has blessed the house of Obed and all that belongs to him because of the ark. So David went and brought up the ark of the house of Obed and the city of David died.
All right. So did we all hear her? I'll just re-echo for everybody to be on the same page. The ark of the Lord remained in the house of Obed-Edom. So let me pause here. Solo, is Pastor Jones coming? Okay, so we'll continue. When Pastor Jones comes in, we'll pause for Minister TJ to just speak to us. He's a teens and youth mentor in Nigeria. So he would also bless us with one or two things. 2 Samuel 6 verse 11. The ark of the Lord remained in the house of Obed-Edom, the Gittite, 3 months. And the Lord blessed Obed-Edom and all his household. Now it was told King David, saying, the Lord has blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that belongs to him because of the ark of God. So David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David. This story amazes me all the time I read it. It says the ark of the Lord dwelt in the house of Obed-Edom and God blessed him because of the ark. So the ark is the presence of God. And because the presence of God was in the house of Obed-Edom, Bible says God blessed him. And David heard that he had been blessed because of the ark. So David said, let me go and bring this ark that brings blessing to the house. So David went and brought the ark. Where I want to start from this afternoon is that for you to take responsibility of your life and for you to be blessed by God, don't joke with the presence of God. I've seen a lot of young people who are drifting away from God's presence. What do I mean by drifting away from God's presence? Monday to Saturday, no Bible reading, no prayer, no form of meditation on God's word. We appear in church on Sunday with our hands lifted up, with our voices high, we dance, we praise, and we do this again the following Sunday. That is not how you carry the presence of God. So for a young person, one of the anchors that you should be mindful of in your life is the presence of God, the God factor. You cannot joke with God's presence. So I encourage every one of us that don't drift away. You see, if you miss devotion for 1 or 2 days, you should come back. But you see, if you go consistently 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, and you haven't fellowship with God in any way or any form, apart from when you come to church on Sunday, it is a disaster waiting to happen. Because God's presence would anchor your life in ways that you cannot even imagine. So I encourage every one of us, please have a personal devotion with God. It shouldn't take much, and you should even take advantage of opportunities that have been created. So now the youth, we pray every morning 5 to 5:30. So if you know that by yourself you cannot do it, an opportunity has been created. So when you do that communal fellowship, it pushes you, and you get yourself going, So that is where I'll start from. The other thing that I want to mention to you is that there is a principle called the haircut principle. And the haircut principle simply says that you cannot ask someone to get a haircut for you. So you can put it in different ways. For ladies, you cannot ask someone to go and braid your hair for you. So Nanama and Maureen were having a discussion. And you can imagine Nanama saying, oh, I'm stressed. I want to go and braid, but I don't have the time. So Maureen, can you make some time this week to go and braid for me? It's not possible. No matter how much love Maureen has for Nana. She can't go and sit down and braid her hair for her. Do you get it? If she braids, it will be on her head. And she will be the one with the new hairstyle. Nanama will be lost out. So that is something that everybody should be mindful of. That you have the sole responsibility for making your life different and for causing a change in your life. So take note of that. It's called the haircut principle. You cannot ask someone to go to the washroom for you. If you are pressed and then you want to release urine or any other thing, you have to go there yourself. Otherwise, there will be a disaster. Now we are going to talk about a few other things that I want to draw our attention to. And I'll start from the concept of nature and nurture. So when we talk about nature and nurture, what you should be mindful of is there is something called nature, which is like how you came to the earth. So your nature, your gender, your temperament, your love language, your personality traits. And I'm sure we all know the gender, male, female, we are all aware. And I want to believe that everyone is also familiar with the temperament. Are we all familiar with the temperament? I want response. This is an interactive session, so I want to be sure that we know. If you don't know, we have to talk about it before we continue. Are we all familiar with the temperament? So some know, some don't. So let's help ourselves. So Maureen, mention any temperament that you are familiar with. Melancholy, sanguine. Who else? Phlegmatic, choleric. So what is a melancholic person? Like, what are some of the features of a melancholic person? They are generally introverted people, quiet, they think a lot. Exactly. Nanama, do you want to help us with sanguine? Sanguines are outspoken, energetic, they are loud people. If you are friends with a sanguine, don't go to anywhere with them. Once they show up, they want everybody to know that they are there. You know, let's even give an example. In this church, who is a typical sanguine? I wouldn't give Jane a sanguine, and I'll tell you why. Yes. You are who? You is who? Like sanguine. Is that what you are saying? Nana Yao is a sanguine. Who else? Daniela is a typical sanguine. Goshen is a sanguine. Goshen is also a sanguine, yes. So let's go to melancholy. Who is a melancholic person? Maureen. I'll tell you why you are not melancholic. Who else? Michael, yes. Michael is melancholic. Who else? So let's talk about the others. We've spoken about sanguine. We've spoken yes, Fifi is a melancholic person. Who else? We've talked about melancholy, sanguine. So let's talk about phlegmatic. Phlegmatic is quite similar to the melancholics. Can you think of someone who is phlegmatic? You are the one who mentioned phlegmatic. I think yourself, you should be phlegmatic. Neo Kai is a great example of a phlegmatic. Who else? I think we have one more. Choleric. Let's talk about choleric. Who is a choleric?
Example of
who first and an example? Cholerics. Yes. So cholerics take action. They are people who are like, let's do this. You know, why are you not doing this? You know, they are very confrontational. So cholerics are people who, I told you to arrange the chairs by 5. Why haven't you arranged the chairs by 5? Do this, do that, you know, and when they're on the road, it's even crazier. You know, don't scratch the car of a choleric. He can even forget that he has insurance, you know, and they will take stone, throw it at, you know, that like they can be very, very messy. So we have the temperaments, and I would encourage you to read more about it. I don't think we would exhaust everything here. So it's also a teaser for you to learn more. So if you don't know your temperament, spend some time to read about the temperament. And then there's an online test you can take. It will tell you what your temperament is. And then I'll tell you in a bit why you need to know your temperament. There are also the love languages: physical touch, acts of service, words of affirmation, gifts given, quality time. That one also, I want you to read about it. I wouldn't spend time on that. That is not the essence of this session. Then we have what is called the personality traits. How many of us are familiar with the personality traits? There are 5 personality traits that everyone should be aware of. So when we talk about the temperament is a bit ancient. So that is how in the ancient days they classified people into these 4 temperaments. But then in modern times, they've also done modern research and they have classified people into 5 personality traits. The first is openness. I'll spend some time here because it's central to my discussion. The first is openness. So you can use the acronym OCEAN, OCEAN, to remember. OCEAN, OCEAN. And the first is openness, openness to experience. So people who are quite open are curious people, they are creative people, and they have preference to novelty. They love to do new things. So they are open to ideas. So people who are open, when you tell them that let's go bungee jumping, if they are open-minded to that experience, they are like, let's do this. But if I tell Mary right now that let's go and do bungee jumping, she'll start thinking because she's not quite an open person. And you can also ask yourself, are you an open person? You're not open to experience. Then the second one is conscientiousness. This word is a mouthful, so I wouldn't pronounce it twice. Conscientiousness. Depending on the school you attended, pronounce it any way you want. Lana, you want to pronounce it for us? Conscientiousness. 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 However you want to pronounce it. So these are people who have very good organization skills, people who have self-discipline, people who are reliable. So you can also look at on the scale of conscientiousness, where do you belong? Are you someone who is high on that scale, or you are very low? Are you a very organized person? If I come to your room, nowadays you see people do a lot of videos. If you've been to my house before, you know that I'm a very conscientious person because everything has to be somewhere. I don't like disorder. So I'm the type of person who's this chair is not straight, I'll straighten it. That kind of thing. So I know that I'm a very conscientious person. If you worked with me before, I'm sure you know. So you also need to know on the scale of that, where do you belong? Then we have extraversion. So extraversion is basically extroverts. So people who are sociable, assertive, and people who are enthusiastic. They are over and about, like excited people who just get excited about everything. Hey, we are going to play football. Hey, we are going to play ampe. Hey, like everything excites them. Once there are people, they are excited. So these are generally extroverts. Then we have agreeableness. Agreeableness. When someone is agreeable, they have compassion, they are cooperative, they have a lot of trust. So people who are agreeable are people who don't say no. So if you're an agreeable person, when someone tells you that, Chala, I need 5,000 cedis, even if you don't have, because you cannot say no, you force yourself to make it available some way, somehow. You are stressed at work and your boss says, oh, can you come in tomorrow? Tomorrow is Saturday. An agreeable person cannot say, boss, I'm tired. But if you have someone who is low on agreeable and they also, boss, wait here, my bread, I can't do it, But an agreeable person will be like, oh, okay, you boss, I'll come. What time should I come? That's an agreeable person. Then the last one is neuroticism. It's also quite big, but at least this one I can pronounce it well. Neuroticism. And this talks about emotional stability. There are people who have zero emotional intelligence. There are people who have, so when we talk about the scale, you are either low or high. So neuroticism is basically the tendency to experience negative emotions. So if it is high, it means you can easily experience negative emotions, and you can get sad, you can get overwhelmed, you get weary and stuff like that. If it is low, it means you have more emotional stability. That is what it means. So remember the acronym OCEAN, OCEAN. So are you with me? O for C for E for extraversion, A for agreeableness, and N for neuroticism. Now, why am I talking about all of these? I started from telling you about nature. So your nature is your inbuilt characteristics. You hardly have someone who is a phlegmatic suddenly become a sanguine. It is really impossible, So generally, the way you are born is the way you likely carry yourself. You can think about your parents. For as long as you've known your dad or your mom, if they are both alive, you can see between the two of them who is more like, extroverted, or like who on the scale of neuroticism is low or high. You can tell. And it's difficult for people to change. It's very difficult for you to change your nature. And it is important for you to know this because it will help you know where you belong. And it will help you put yourself in a way that the disadvantages of the way you are made doesn't affect you. You understand? So if you are, for instance, a phlegmatic or a melancholic person, you probably not do very well in front of people. So if you're a customer service person and you are phlegmatic, so if you go to a place, you more likely want to meet someone who is a sanguine, because they'll be like, hey, how are you? I like your hair. What's your name? My name is James. What's your name? Then suddenly it's like you've known the person all this while. If you want to be a salesperson, if you're a phlegmatic, you can barely do sales, because it's like they'll be forcing you, go and sell insurance. Then, please, my name is, please, do you have insurance? Like, you don't even know the way to start. But a sanguine will just meet you and will be like, hey, Charlie, how be long time? They've not even met you before. But like they'll vibe with you, and by the time you realize you've bought 5 of their products. One time I was in a mall or so, and there was this lady who was sanguine. And she was selling beauty products for ladies. How I bought those things, I don't even know. But like she'll vibe with you, and suddenly it's like you've known this person all your life. Then she tells you, buy this for your wife, and suddenly I'm buying it. On and on, if it was a phlegmatic, they would even struggle to come to you. Unless you come to them. Even that one, they'll struggle to sell. You understand? So I entreat every one of us, spend some time to identify your temperament, your personality traits, your love language. And a combination of these can be disastrous. So be mindful of it. Oh, if you're not ready to be okay. So if you know where you belong, it helps you, because a combination of them can be some way. If you are someone who is, let's say, phlegmatic, melancholy, you are someone who likes to keep to yourself. If you go and marry a sanguine, it can disturb you. Do you understand? Although it can also be to your advantage, because maybe you are someone who feels like, I'm always quiet, so I need someone to at least put some ginger in me small. Then you need a sanguine. But if you don't know, there are some people too, they are quiet and they will prefer to be with a quiet person. You are home, I'm home, I'm okay. But there are some people, maybe I need someone to say, let's go for a vacation, let's do this, let's do that. You see, they need that form of excitement.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the School of Growth podcast. If you enjoyed our conversation, don't forget to subscribe for more insightful content. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to having you with us next time. Until then, take care and keep growing.